Hello, it is Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. I'm Chris Primo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Wednesday crossword today, which means we're in for a midweek, mid-difficulty solve, and I hope it's not too difficult. I hope it's not the upper end of the midweek difficulty, because I'm very, very pressed for time today, so I'm going to have to get on with this. Quickly, I'll mention that I did a video overview of the new Puzzmo site. It's a new site that publishes word puzzles and other sorts of puzzles on a daily basis, and you can check that out. It went up on the channel yesterday. I thought it would be fun to take a look around because it is still a fairly recent addition to the online puzzle solving world, and I think people have really been enjoying it, as have I, so check that out. And then anyway, this midweek, mid-difficulty edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by William, Camtron, Henrik Koskinen, and, as always, the indomitable Showmaster and the incredible Horan family. So thank you so much to the five of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. They do keep this channel going. They do sustain this whole thing. I'm very appreciative for their contributions. Thank you so much to them. And thanks to you if you're a patron. If you'd like to become one, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the link in the description field underneath the video. There you can find all of the bonus videos available to patrons, of course. And you can also find in the description field a link to the Daily Solve Discord chat server, where, as I mentioned in yesterday's Puzzmo's video, people have been posting their invitations to join Puzzmo. So if you've been trying to secure an invitation to that website, you might be able to get one on the Daily Solve Discord chat server. And finally, do subscribe to the channel, like the videos. Those things are highly appreciated as well. Thanks to everybody who's been doing that. All right, let's get on to today's crossword. This is a Wednesday-themed New York Times crossword by Gary Larson, who's constructed around half a dozen puzzles for the New York Times. Welcome back to him. This is not the cartoonist, but he is a skilled crossword constructor, and edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's get on to it, and let's start solving. Half of an orange. I don't know. Does it maybe red, as in red and yellow, are the two colors that comprise orange? I'm not sure. Reel attachment. Okay, yes. So in a fishing or angling context, a reel and a rod would be two parts. So I think that's probably the case. And that makes me think red maybe is the half of an orange. That was a bit of a wild stab, but I think it might be right. A dedicated work. Well, here we go. This is less of a guess. The official poetic form of the New York Times crossword, the ode. I think we can all agree that is correct. Actor in Elf and Up. I've actually never seen Elf, believe it or not, but I have seen Up, and the principal elderly character in that film is played by Ed Asner, so he must be in Elf as well. Maybe he plays Santa Claus. I don't know. He seems like he might. Taken down a notch. If someone is taken down a notch, they're demoted, maybe? I'm not certain. There might be other possibilities, so let's look. Bad thing to burst. A dam could burst, and that would be bad. So there we go. Already so soon, you might ask? And not a fan of post-millennials. Interesting. This is a funny pun, whatever it is. So not a fan of post-millennials. Who's after millennials? Gen Z? Anti-Gen Z? Is that what we're looking for here? Soak. I'm not sure if I'm missing some more obvious pun. Soak. If something's soaked, it's sogged, it's soggy, so maybe sog, that would work with. Let's put in the Gen Z and see if that works. Flies, maybe. Oh, zippers, as in fly in your trousers. And Central Plains tribe, the Oto are a Central Plains tribe, an indigenous tribe, so there we go. And then a kind of knot is, I don't know, but these are looking right. So soon an anti-Gen Z. This anti-Gen Z thing is funny. Is there an additional joke I'm missing there? I guess it's just that post-millennials is, in this case, not being used in the sense that the actual word would be used, but rather just in a punny way to refer to the nickname for the generation following the millennials. I think that's what's going on. Okay, so to have gotten on a soapbox, say, is maybe to have orated, to have given some kind of speech, and because people say to get on your soapbox is to kind of stand up and address people. Kind of not. Still not sure about this one. And a bit of light could be a ray of light, perhaps. Handle that goes up and down. Question mark. So some kind of pun here, but I'm not sure what it is. To release some pressure, to ease, to... I feel like there's something on the tip of my tongue here. What am I looking for? I'm not sure. Outer limits. The edges of something would be its outer limits. And stand of trees. A grove, maybe? Why is that a stand? I'm not sure that's right. Oh, although granny knot. Granny knot, I have heard of that. That is some kind of knot that you might tie. A granny knot. I think that might be right. I'm going to put that in. And then maybe this is a grove. So to release some pressure, to vent. Right, okay, you could vent pressure from, something pressurized, I suppose. You could let some air out. Handle that goes up and down. Yeah, I'm still not sure about this one. Oh, I see what it is. It goes up and down in the sense that because this is a down clue, it's read vertically. And so it's referring to a palindromic name, in this case, the man's name Otto, which goes up and down in the sense that it reads identically vertically in either direction, going up or going down. There we go. Very clever. Oh, although this doesn't look right, does it? Obnoxious house guest. Right, okay, I've got something wrong, but I'm not yet sure what it is. Obnoxious house guest. Here we have marble made of metal. Right. Brief brouhaha. Okay, I've got something wrong over here. I'm not yet sure what it is. I don't usually fill this much in without being more certain about the crosses, but I guess I've missed something. Let's see. If you nourished someone, you fed them. I'm just going to come back to it. It's a no-brainer, you could say. If you blamed someone you blamed. I don't know why I can't see that. Qualify. To qualify would be to... why can't I see this either? Okay, sorry. Start to sleep for a while. Doze off. There we go. Brief brouhaha. A set to? I have seen that phrase before. Kind of a bit of a fight. I'm fairly certain that's right. Let's keep going. Introspective subject, the self. If you're introspective, you're thinking about yourself. Oh, to qualify for something would be to be entitled to it. So you're going to qualify someone for this benefit. You're going to entitle them to it. Rapper Most Def is the rapper. And blamed is, I don't know, I still can't see this. And this is interesting. Obnoxious house guest with a TZ at the end. That's very surprising to me. Surely these two are right at the end, right? I mean, marble made of metal. Steely? I mean, is there a marble called this? I'm just trying to think what this could be. So Otto is wrong. That's very surprising. If this is, so staying, obnoxious house guest, staying, boy, that TZ at the end is surprising. So I don't know the phrase steely, but I could just easily imagine calling a little marble made of metal a steely. It just seems like the kind of thing that children would refer to in the context of sort of playing with marbles and having such a thing. So handle that goes up and down. Oh, I don't get it. What am I missing here? I'm to speed this up. One's showing up in the middle of supper. One's showing up in the middle of supper, question mark. Oh, and if you blamed someone, you faulted them. That was very obvious. Should have put that in immediately. So what is this? Obnoxious house guest. I don't know what it is. So God on a Soapbox is definitely orated. This does seem like, I know why this is Otis. It's because, sorry. I was completely wrong with my interpretation of this. I think it was a reasonable interpretation, but it was completely wrong. And it's referring to Otis, who made elevators. So, because the handle Otis is applied to the elevators themselves. They're Otis branded, and they go up and down. Oh my goodness. Okay, apologies. That took me absolutely ages to see. Okay, so one's showing up in the middle of supper. Oh, it's just the letter P, because in the middle of the word supper, we have two P's, so plural P's spelled phonetically. And then this is staying puts. Okay, so a puts is somewhat obnoxious. A house guest is someone who's staying with you. And of course, staying put is an existing phrase. And so we've made a punny, kind of punny combination of these things with staying puts. And presumably this is part of the theme. And that's why we've got, okay, because antigen. Now I understand what's going on here. Antigen is a phrase which I was thinking, but then I was thinking, oh, but it's got that Z on the end. So what does that mean? Well, it means that's what the theme is. We've got a Z at the end of sort of ordinary phrases that are constructed through as kind of punny responses to these clues. Okay, finally got it. Let's see if I can now pick up the pace a bit. Song one might flip for, side B. You could flip a record over from side A to side B on a record player. Tournament placement, you could be a seed placement in a tournament. It's kind of roster. Actor Butterfield of Sex Education. I've not actually seen this. I think I've maybe seen the name Asa Butterfield, perhaps. It sort of sounds familiar. Let's see if this works. Yes, if you're passionate about something, you're an art. You could be a passionate supporter, an ardent supporter, and neither's partner would be nor. So neither this nor that. And a nincompoop could be a twit, maybe. Let's check the crosses on that. Bit of water splashed on a ship's front. Well, my first thought was bowsprit, but that's not a bit of water. That's a kind of, ornamentation, or kind of, construction element of a ship. So the bit of water splashed on a ship's front. So the ship's front is the bow, and the bit of water is a splat. This will end with a Z, right? So maybe we just put that in. It's going to be one of these. Brand of cold and allergy relief products. Oh, I'm not sure. Let's go back up to here. Coyote sounds. Yips. Coyotes, I suppose, could make a sort of yipping sound. And a course standard could be a par, so on a golf course, for instance. If you lost traction, you slid maybe on some ice. And if something's on the light side, it could be pale in color. Fraternity letter is eta, maybe? It'll be a Greek letter because this is referring to kind of university fraternities named with Greek letters. Maybe it is eta. Roasting platforms, daises. So if you're being roasted at a ceremony, say, roast kind of event, you could be standing at a dais, perhaps. Or maybe if you're doing the roasting, that's where you're standing. Sure thing or close to it. Past academics. Emerita. So, you could refer to a professor emeritus, someone who's no longer employed by the university, say, but they still do guest lectures, perhaps. Blank who, says who, right? And this will give us our Z for this punny answer, I suspect. Cap worn at a Shriner's Christmas party. A Santa Fez. There we go. There's one of these I got quickly, at least. So Santa Fe being a phrase in the sense that it's the name of a place. And the Shriners, that group wears fezzes famously. And then, of course, the Christmas party contributes the Santa bit. Okay, so if you showed up, you came. Sure thing or close to it. Safe bet. Showbiz, maybe. Appropriate letter to end this puzzle on. So Z or Z. In the New York Times crossword, I'm thinking Z. And there we go. Very appropriate indeed. Summer in La Cité. That would be été in French. So summer in the city. and the city being spelled in French means the answer will be as well. So summer in French is été. All right, sure thing or close to it. Yeah, it is a safe bet. Although 1-to-1 e.g. TAE. What is that? Oh, emeriti. I guess, is emerita, would that be a woman, a sort of emeritus female form, perhaps? And then is this, oops, an I is what I'm looking for. This must be it. I mean, yeah, I have no, I have no Latin education, so I have to do my best with that sort of thing. All right, to go on and on is to blather or to ramble or something. Boy, I'm not making great time. Brand of cold and allergy relief products. Oh, Zicam I've maybe seen before, perhaps. Let's try that. To go on and on is to yammer on and on. Tabloid news organization. Oh, TMZ. Right, which I think after this having been explained to me at least twice in the comments before, I think stands for 3 Mile Zone, which has something to do with the way that kind of productions are considered local in Hollywood film shoots. One side in a Senate vote, the nays, yay or nay, making fun of Beyonce's beau. Right, so some sort of something about Jay-Z. We'll come back to it. Arctic skin boats, and then what is this? Syrian's northern neighbor. Syrian's northern neighbor. Oh, a Turk, someone who lives in Turkey because Turkey abuts Syria. Sorry, for some reason I don't know. I wasn't interpreting that properly. So baptism is a rite, a religious rite, of course. And then Disco Dude on The Simpsons is stew. Oh, right. This is bowsprit. So, because a sprit, right, of course. Because a spritz is a bit of water splashed on a ship's front. A spritz is a bit of water. I see. Okay, I keep forgetting how these work. Sorry about this. So, this has been a very flustered solve. So the ship's front is the bow. The bit of water splashed is a spritz. And so we put that all together and we get the bowspritz. And then that is, again, we've got the Z appended to an existing phrase, which in this case is the sort of element at the front of a boat. Okay, so Arctic skin boats. Oh, kayaks, of course. There we go. Improvisational session could be a jam, maybe a music improv. And management positions could be helms, maybe? You take the helm? I'm not sure that's right. Well, let's just look. Neutrogena shampoo line, I have no idea. Pot starter. Okay, so in a gambling context, the pot starter could be the ante, so maybe I will put this in for now. Blank kebab. Yeah, okay, shish kebab. There we go. That does work. And then some barbecue fare could be steaks. You could barbecue steaks. Neutrogena shampoo line, I still don't know that. Slicker, topper. Some sort of hat? Topper? Making fun of Beyonce's beau. The making fun part means this will probably be ing. Oh, mocking Jay-Z. There we go, because mocking Jay is an existing phrase, and then we're making fun of Jay-Z. We're mocking Jay-Z, and there we have it. Mocking Jay-Z from the phrase mocking Jay with a Z. Okay. Slicker topper. Maybe this is T-gel, the Neutrogena shampoo line. I'm just going to have to get it with crosses. Musty could be dank, maybe, a sort of dank attic. Musty attic as opposed to the more modern usage of dank. Told tales could be lied, maybe. You've been telling tales, you've been lying, perhaps. Fearing the worst, you're not sure. British singer with the hits How We Do, Party, and Poison. I don't actually know these, but just based on the fill, I'm wondering if it's Rita Ora, who I do at least know is a British singer, and therefore could well be the answer. Pioneering Dadaist. Oh, ARP. ARP is a famous artist of the Dada movement, the kind of, intentionally nonsensical art movement. Fearing the worst. all. Not sure. Louisiana's state bird. Oh, peacock it must be. Did I know that? Oh, no. No, that doesn't fit. Never mind. Oh, what is this? Do I actually know this? I'm not sure. North Africa's blank mountains. Can't think of that either. Slicker topper. Oh, a rain hat. Oh, I see. Slicker in the sense of a rain slip. Boy, that's not a phrase I've heard in a long time. Right. You'd be wearing a slicker for the rainy weather, and then you might also have a rain hat to go with it. Okay, so what is this? Louisiana state bird. Oh, is it the pelican? I mean, I definitely didn't know that. Oh, Atlas Mountains. Atlas Mountains, of course. North Africa's Atlas Mountains. And then if you're fearing the worst, you're alarmed. So then here we have a historical period being an era, and an apt name for a sensei would be, Dan, I guess, in the sense of Don, from the Japanese, which I would not be able to translate precisely, but I understand the relevance, at least. And there we go. So I found that quite a tricky puzzle, as you could tell. I was back and forth all over this thing and making mistakes and figuring out what I was doing wrong eventually. But let's look at our theme quickly. We've got our obnoxious house guest, the staying puts. We've got someone who's not a fan of post-millennials, could be anti-Gen Z. We've got the bit of water splashed on a ship's front would be the bowspritz. The cap worn at a Shriner's Christmas party is a Santa Fez. And finally, someone making fun of Beyonce's bow would be mocking Jay-Z. And there we go. Appropriately, the puzzle ends with a phonetic spelling of the letter Z. So a nice idea by Gary Larson. Took me a while to really fully understand it, I have to admit. And then it took me even longer to actually finish solving it all. So there we go. A midweek difficulty puzzle, but on the tougher end of that for me, despite my initial wishes. Anyway, got there in the end. That was the Wednesday crossword. I will, of course, be back for the Thursday edition of the puzzle, so do join me tomorrow for that. Oh, and let me know how you fared with this puzzle, actually. I'm particularly curious with ones like this, where it ends up being tougher for me than I usually think that day of the week will be. So yeah, in the Discord server or in comments on the video, let me know. I'm always curious how this one was to you relative to a typical Wednesday. Anyway, like I say, I'll be back tomorrow for the tricky themed Thursday edition of the crossword. Until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Wednesday. Take care.